Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Unity. Good morning to all of you that are in the sanctuary, and good morning to all of you that are out there in live stream world. Is it not a beautiful morning or what?
Yes.
I know. I turned off the air conditioner and opened those windows and let the cool breeze blow. So, if you haven't already, would you please turn off your cell phones? You can talk, text later, but not now. So please do that for me. So I have an interesting story to share with you today, and it is from the riverfront, but it's a different story from the riverfront. It's not about the river itself. As you know, 2 weeks ago, my friend Hisham, my neighbor, had passed away. And the story and going to the hospital and all of that, and being with the family for that weekend. So one night this week, actually last week, at the end of the week, my neighbor, her name is Delara, pretty name Delara, and she invited me over, and she said she wanted to tell me a story. And she told me a story about quite a while ago in her lifetime. She's a doctor, and she had helped a family, and particularly the husband who was very ill, and that she just did what she had to do because she did what she had to do. And the family invited her over for dinner, she and her husband and her son, to come for dinner. And they came for dinner, and the man said, "I want to tell you a story." And the man told a story of a long, long time ago that he had helped a family that were in need and had done a lot of different things for them. And they invited him to dinner. And they said that they had what they called a grateful ring. And this ring had been passed down for years and years and years and years. It was a diamond ring. So they gave, the family gave the diamond ring to the man who Delara helped. And that night, then the man gave that ring to Delara. And then last week, Delara gave that diamond ring to me. I share this with you not because, look at me and I got a ring for doing something good. I can't keep this ring. There's a point in my life where then I pass it on to somebody else when I know the time is right. I don't keep this ring. But I pass it on to the story to share with you the humanness and the goodness that are in all of us, and that what we need to do is always to be passing on. And you know, it's really interesting, but one of the last conditions is recycling, moving on, moving through, passing on. So we just do good because it's the right thing to do, when to do. We don't stop and think. It's like a woman who can pick up a car that's 5,000 pounds and get her child out from under it. We do what we have to do. So I wanted to share the story with you, and I'll show it to you after service. You can see the ring. But it's a really funny thing about this. So for years and years, I've been single umpteen years. Not by choice, just by life. And so I would never wear a ring on my left hand because, keep open and then, God will fill. Well, I didn't fill. But anyhow, so then, at Christmas time, my friend Tibby gave me the peach opal and moonstone, and well, then I put that ring, and I laughed and told Tibby that we were engaged. And now I have another ring on my finger. So isn't it interesting that all these years I held this space? See, you never know what's going to come. You just never know what's going to come. So when somebody's in need, reach out, help. Nobody owes you anything, but always just pass it on. And I look forward for the day when I will know when to pass this ring on to somebody else. So that's the notes from the river today. Thank you for listening. All right, now how about we stand and sing in the spirit, because it's a beautiful day for that song. And let's hear you do it. Let's get some. Yeah.
In the spirit, there is harmony. In the spirit, there is peace. In the spirit, there is comfort. In the spirit, there is release. In the spirit, I have everything that I need. Oh, in the spirit is my life. In the spirit, there is wholeness. In the spirit, there is health. In the spirit, there is wisdom. In the spirit, I need nothing else. In the spirit, I have everything that I need. Oh, in the spirit is my life. In the spirit, there is diversity, different talents, different gifts. In the spirit, there is unity. In the spirit, we all fit. In the spirit, I have everything that I need. Oh, in the spirit is my life. In the spirit, I am growing. In the spirit, I am free. In the spirit, I am evolving. In the spirit, I'm learning to read. In the spirit, I have everything that I need. Oh, in the spirit is my life. In the spirit, it is God's pleasure to express Himself as you and me. In the spirit, constantly creating, we are unlimited possibilities. In the spirit, I have everything that I need. Oh, in the spirit is my life. In the spirit, in the spirit, in the spirit, we all live.
Thank you. And in that spirit, let's invite our Tom Clever to read the daily word, light the Christ candle, and light the candles for the flames of faith. Tom.
Thank you, Reverend Auberlin. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Daily word for today is realize. I realize the power of spiritual truth. I have had many aha moments throughout my life when something that had befuddled me for years suddenly became clear. It may have been something I tried to learn in school, a skill I practiced and tried to master as I grew, or even an idea that challenged my understanding of the world around me. Whenever I realized something new, I could feel my world expanding, opening up before me in fresh and exciting ways, making me eager to discover even more. On my spiritual journey, I feel a similar excitement as I realize I have so much more than a spark of divinity within me. I am fully divine, just as I am fully human. I feel newly alive in this realization and so grateful for it. And from Genesis 28:16, then Jacob woke from his sleep and said, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it." We light the Christ candle today again as a reminder that Spirit is within us at all times, giving us life and letting us share it with each other.
And as we begin to light the flames of faith, as soon as they show up on my lectern, we will do that. Where did they go and who took them?
Amen, sister, I don't know.
Make it up.
Make it up? Well, how about if we do it this way?
You're gonna go that way?
I'm gonna go that way.
Okay.
I'm flexible. So lighting the flames of faith, we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. And fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. So as Tom lights the first candle, we light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the next candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. The next candle that we light is for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The next candle that we light is for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light a candle for Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And we light a candle, our last candle, for those who are yet unaware of spirit in their lives and for the space that we're holding for them here at this center. Thank you. I like that. I get to see the pictures that way. I never get to see the pictures. So if we would have our second song. And I really like you to listen to the words to this as you sing. And we can stay seated.
L.R. Nost says, "Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended, not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you." So many crying in the darkness, anger and hate are building walls, and the shadow it's a song this broken world awaits. Alive as you, alive as you. We're all looking for a savior who'll turn the darkness into light. But when we join hands with our neighbor, we become that beacon shining on this broken world awaits. The light that is you, you are the light. We are entering the tomb. We are exiting the room. Find your wisdom in the silence. That's where you find your voice. When we choose kindness over violence, oh, love becomes our only choice. This broken world awaits the light. We are the light. You and me now. We are the light. We are the light. Shining, shining light. Entering the tomb. We are exiting the room.
Isn't that beautiful? Yes. You know, I have just been engaged in my car listening to these great musicians that we have the privilege of hearing for my initiation. Yeah, that word. And, you know, whatever. It's Sunday morning. And I just keep finding, Jules, you got to do this song. Jules, you got to do this song. I'm just typing and typing. So anyhow, that's where we're at today. So I have to tell you, I personally have loved going through these 12 conditions of a miracle with you this summer. For me, it was unity, spirituality, new thought, theory, but blended by adding a different perception that was new and invigorating for my mind and prayerfully for your mind also. See, one of the challenges of being a spiritual leader is first and foremost to bring forth all of the theory and the tools and open your mind to understand your own individuality, your own uniqueness, and discover the power of your own energy that you were born with. That's where I was hired. That's what my colleague is for. But as we discussed last week, all of this is well and good and necessary. But we also have to move this energy forward. We have to move it toward our dream, our intentions, and our higher good. And it's time for each one of us to move out of the Egypt of our lives, the darkness and ignorance of our lives, and stop listening to the taskmasters of sickness and sorrow and poverty. Sometime, somewhere, every human must come to him or herself. Sometime, somewhere, this is what we must do. And to quote Emily Caddy, which of course is pure unity, she sums up what I'm saying by this. She said, God, I love this woman. You may study with human teachers and from man-made books until doomsday. You may get all the theological lore of the ages. You may understand intellectually all the statements of truth and be able to craft healing formulas as quickly as oil flows. But, she says, until there is an indwelling Christ through whom and by whom come life, health, peace, and power, all things are. Who is all things? You have not yet found the friendship of the Lord. You will find all things when you find the friendship of the Lord. And going through these 12 lessons with you these past 8 weeks, I had to condense them a bit, I have found a whole new level of understanding what she means by the friendship of the Lord, the friendship of the Holy Spirit, the Holy Mother of God. So in our teaching then, whether we're talking about the 5 principles of unity, the 7 stages of prayer, the 5 levels of prayer, 12 powers, or the 12 conditions of a miracle, each one of these things are the tools then which we continually bring forth, which I continually bring forth in different ways. It's like, let me count the ways. How many ways can I say this? Holy mackerel, 20 years worth. It's getting tough, I want to tell you. But it's important that your spiritual leaders of all religions keep bringing you in touch and closer to that higher consciousness, closer to that truth of who and what you are inside. So before we go forward today, I'd like to read you the passage, the Alpha passage that we've talked about the whole time, Matthew 14, 13 through 20. 7 verses, and look what has come out of 7 verses. Yet there's, so much more I could have said, but we would be here to do this day. So I just want to share that with you. If anyone would like to look at this after, this is the note that we've been working from. Wait, you haven't worked, I have worked from. And I just want to read that to you. And the way that it was laid out, this is interesting if you can see it, but it was laid out in first the Arabic and then the Greek and then the Greek translation to how Dr. Todd interpreted what the Greeks were trying to tell us. So I'm going to read this to you. So it says, and hearing Jesus withdrew from there in a boat into a desert place privately, and having heard the crowd, followed him on foot from the cities. And going out, Jesus saw a great crowd, and was filled with pity toward them. And he healed them and the infirm of them. Evening, however, coming, came near to him the disciples of him, saying, desert this place, and the hour already is gone. Dismiss the crowds that going away into the village, that they may buy for themselves food. But Jesus said to them, not need they have to go away, give to them you to eat. But say to him, not we have here except 5 loaves and 2 fish. He, however, said, bear to me them here. And commanding the crowds to recline on the grass, and taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, looking up to the heaven, he blessed and broke. He gave the disciples the loaves, and the disciples to the crowds, and ate all and were satisfied. And they took the excess of the fragments, 12 handbaskets full. So a little bit different interpretation from the Matthew that we read in the King James and such, because it has a different, and we've taken that apart and the words apart through this whole period of time. So moving now to our 12 conditions, before we discuss the last 3, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. So condition 1 was emptiness. Anyone remember what emptiness is about at all? I know you do, you're just afraid to say it. So emptiness, you can speak out. Remember, I came down here so we could talk. You want to talk? I'm from New York, you want to talk, okay. So space, creating a space, right, thank you, Mike, creating a space. Spend time in quiet, emptying your mind, releasing the blocks that hold you back, create a space to allow the spirit to come in, absolutely. And condition number 2, alignment. With the eyes of spirit, see the multitudes. Come in alignment with what is. Shift from concern about yourself. The disciples said, send them away, let them go eat by themselves. And then Jesus said, no, shift from concern about yourself and concern about others. Be compassionate, become a light worker. You know, we just sang that, we are the light, we are the light. And condition 3, asking, formulate your requests mentally, dwell on the essence of your dream. Remember we talked about the feeling, not asking, it's believing is seeing, not seeing is believing. You want to feel what you wish to experience. Don't see, feel, okay? Condition number 4, maximizing. Take the inventory of what you have. And that's what Jesus did. He took the inventory of what he had, and that includes your talent, your friendship, and your health, and your knowledge. Take inventory of all. We're not talking about your material things per se. Take inventory of all the uniqueness and the goodness and the greatness of who and what you are. Focus on what you have. Jesus focused on what he had, and then he saw the expansion. So you maximize what you have first before adding more. And share what you do not need or cannot use. And I have been doing that. I've been reorganizing, and I will say to somebody, oh, here, I brought you this, and somebody else, I brought you that, and today I brought something else. It's for you, Sandy. So doing that, you know, sharing, moving things through, not letting things be stagnant in your life. And condition number 5, giving. Become a regular and consistent giver. And be a cheerful giver. Never give out of obligation. Cheerful giver. And be sure your intent, you have an intent, and never attach strings. No strings to any gift ever. Know the return comes from the universe, not who gave you something. God is your only source and supply. Condition number 6, grounding. Stay in the present moment. Make time for fun. Be as a child. Work on your level of faith. You know, have faith to touch the hem. That faith, just by touching the hem, I'm healed. Have faith that just touching, I'm healed. Practice, know your power. You have to know your power to let it flow to you. And then condition 7, visualization. Don't see things manifesting. Feel, living your dream. We've talked about this, or I've talked about this through the whole summer, about feeling. Practice feeling the feeling. Practice feeling the feeling. Include others in your good and your visualization. Don't make it about you. Make it about goodness. About goodness, about giveness, about compassion, about empathy. And condition number 8, gratitude. Bless all your resources all the time. Can you see the theme that's followed through this, just from that the 7 verses, the theme that has gone through? Bless your resources. Hold them up. Have a deep sense of appreciation for everything. This day, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Appreciate it, love it. Thank Mother Nature for it. Express gratitude. And say only positive things about everything in your life and the lives of others. Don't wait for something to happen to be grateful for. Be grateful, wake up grateful. Remember, happy new day, happy new day. Thank you, God, I'm alive. I'm still saying that. One day, I swear to God, my cat's gonna say it too. I know it. I know it. I can smell it. And condition number 9, act as if. Now, start moving. Act as if does not mean fake it till you make it. It means stop moving now. Avoid procrastination. Expect a miracle. Persist. Work is the ultimate act of act as if. Work, move, do something. Don't sit on your couch and contemplate your belly button. And now, condition number 10, engage the cycle. So we're starting to come full cycle now to these 7 verses. The miracle of the loaves and fishes is characterized then by this circular flow. That's what I've been talking about all summer, this circular flow. It has to keep moving. The minute you stop, the minute you hold back, the minute you say no in your life, you stop the flow of energy in your life. The minute you open up and allow, good automatically has to flow to you, because that's the law. That's the way the universe works. It's no great understanding. It's the law, just like electricity. Plug in something and a light works. You stick your finger in it and you're across the room. It's the law. It's the law. In the first conditions, then, the energy all flowed toward Jesus. Everything was flowing toward him. And the first thing that he did was what? He established the emptiness, right? And as we now know, everything moves forward from there. So it goes back to the first. Once you can ground yourself, once you can become centered, once you can open up and allow the peace that passes all understanding to come in and through you and move within you, you create the space and you move forward from there. So this set up then the circular current, the flow. Now, after the multitudes were fed and they gathered up, the miracle ended, and there was what? 12 baskets of food left. The energy came full circle. So what goes around comes around. We know this. It's the law of the universe, right? We know this? Look at this.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. So the miracle worker, when he sows seeds, they can produce many, many times an abundant harvest. Look at every piece of fruit you eat, every vegetable you eat, and all of the seeds that are surrounded within that and that. Can you imagine if we planted all of that? There's an abundance of harvest there for us. So it's an energy that flows through your life, and we have to pass it on. Even the energy of this ring. Think about that story, that pass it on. It's a magnificent story. I wish I knew the beginning of the beginning of the beginning of the story. I would love to know that. You gotta keep things moving. When you receive, look for ways to give. Keep the circuits open. Interesting, in the Muslim tradition, every time I bring something over, they can't give me back the vessel that I brought it in without putting something in it. It has to be a piece of fruit, a candy wrapped in a wrapper. They keep it moving. I think that was fascinating when I saw that. So, even if you write a note and say, I'm sending love with it. So when you return something, don't send it empty. It doesn't mean you have to go out and buy a fruit basket this big. But even a note that says, returning with love. Wow, what a concept. I never thought of it, but I'll start it now. And then I keep telling you guys you don't have to bring the containers back. Well, maybe I'll give you my better ones so you do. I want to see what you're going to fit in. But does it make sense what I'm saying? Isn't it a great idea, that thank you level? So remember, our growth, our individual growth, and the growth of our communities and our families and our society then occurs in circles. Think of the rings around the trees. Think about the rings. A young tree versus an old tree. Circles. Think about the tides moving out. We know, and we know, and we know we must stop fighting the current. Don't fight the currents anymore. Stop fighting, all of us. Stop fighting. Please stop fighting. We have to relax. We must, I must, relax into the cycles of growth and the natural flow of life. And when we do, Emily Caddy says when you start to do that, everything changes because it has to, because the energy that is going out from you reaches out and it pulls it back in from that good energy, and like attracts like. And it works. I know this stuff works. And I can remember as a young student saying, what is this thing, this stuff works? What a weird thing to say. This stuff works. Guys, it works. I know it works. Condition 11, receiving. We've talked a lot about receiving through this past summer. But you remember the story of the woman who was going to lose her children as slaves because she couldn't pay her debts. And then the collector said to her, do you have oil in a vessel? And she said, yes. He said, go to all your neighbors and get all of the vessels you have and keep filling them and keep filling them and keep filling them. The woman filled all of the empty vessels to pay her debt, but there were no more when there were no more vessels, the oil stopped flowing. So when we tighten up, when we hold back, when we refuse to give of our time, talent, tithe, compassion, empathy, love, and joy, things stop flowing to us. And when we open up, then the oil starts flowing again. Yeah, that's the way it works. We know nature abhors a vacuum. I have a confession. I bought another pack of hangers yesterday in Home Goods. No vacuums in my closet. Recycling. Condition number 12. Hits the heart of everybody in here. I know that. So there was a golfer, and he really wanted to be a good golfer, but he was really a bad golfer, and he just couldn't swing the thing and make it happen and all that thing you do with that little ball. And so a golf pro came to the golf course and watched him, and he told him what was wrong with his swing. For those of you who play golf, you'll understand this. No follow through. No follow through. So he would swing, but he didn't follow through his whole body that you have to do when you play golf, if I'm explaining that right. Right? But this is what I've been talking about. This is what Emily Caddy is saying to us. You can read the books, you can go to classes, you can do workshops, and then you come back and I hear you guys, you guys, humanity, talking and going, yeah, none of that workshop really sticks. You take the book, you take the fold, you put it on the shelf with the next one, and then you get a pile like this of all the workshops you went to. And over here you have the 500 books you read. You go, well, they don't work. They don't work because we don't follow through. We walk away from the workshop, we close the book, we go out to lunch, and then we forget the whole thing. Right? I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Sometimes I pull out stuff and read it, and I go, God, that was really great. I should have followed through. I forgot about that. So God says, give me a break. Follow through. You ask God, why? You know, give me a break. Buy the lottery ticket, right? You have to follow through. If you're not following through, it's not going to happen. The flow of energy must never be abandoned. It's got to keep going and going in that circular motion. You have to allow in, let it come to you, and then let it go back out, and allow it to come back into you, and let it go back out. Like the golfer, the follow through will add considerable power to the intention. When the golfer follows through, he has power to hit that ball. So when the condition of a miracle is set into motion, the supply is so bountiful, and it surpasses simple abundance, and it reaches superabundance. Superabundance. Excuse me, when a minister looks at the clock, it means nothing. Okay. So that's what my second-year teacher, Reverend Judy Powell, always used to say. What does it mean when a minister looks at the clock? She'd go, nothing. So, anyhow, interesting, the Greek word for excess is proscenium. And in Strong's Concordance, you know, I've been talking about that big book, the Concordance, it means excess, but it also means superabundance. So meaning then, there is more than enough for the miracle worker and everyone around. So this whole Alpha passage, which I just read to you, indicates that any supply should be gathered and not wasted. Infinite intelligence has an extreme aversion to waste. And I know many of you in here are the same. Nature recycles an energy with profound care, and we are to do the same, right? Anyone that knows about the recycling of the solar systems and how all of that works, and it goes through the home and then up and heats, and I don't know how that works intelligently, but I know what I'm talking about. Sort of. But you know what I'm saying. The cycle goes on, and we're carefully recycling our resources that pass through our lives. We are doing that. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. There it is, guys. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. So much is given to us. So much. And I have so much in my life. I have been blessed so many times, far more liberally than I could ever produce. Don't hoard. Don't hoard. Don't hoard. Share. Do not waste. All of you people that are a size this and have all these clothes down here and size this, you're never going to fit in them, get rid of them, and move them out. How come you're laughing? The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. What a journey this has been this summer. I hope it served you well, because it certainly has given me a new look, a new perspective, a new gratitude, a whole new feeling of life. But you have to remember, move on, move forward, set an intention, and then give God a break. Follow through. Emily Caddy says, there is but one source of being. This source is the living fountainhead of all good. Think about that, a fountainhead. And she says with a capital F, the fountainhead God, the fountainhead of all good, be it life, wisdom, power, the giver of all good gifts. So this source then, this substance, this universe, this intelligence, whatever it is, you're connected, and every minute of your existence is connected to it. So you have the power then. You have this power that you can pull on it at any time for all the good you've ever wanted in your life. So I say to you today, you matter. Every one of you, you matter. So please, if you're comfortable, sit back in your chairs. Release what you may have on your laps. Unfold your arms, legs. And the meditation this morning is just music. And what I want you to know, embody, and believe is that you matter.
Do you know how much you matter? Do you know that you are loved? Do you know you've made a difference in the lives you've touched? All the times you felt unworthy, in the darkness of your soul, and all the lies you told yourself, just let go, let go. 'Cause you matter. You matter. I can't imagine all you've been through, 'cause I've not walked in your shoes. But you will always have my heart, and I see you. You matter. You matter. Feel it all release. It's there you will find your peace. know how much you matter? Do you know that you are loved? Do you know you made a difference in the lives you've touched? 'Cause you matter. You matter. You matter. You matter. You matter. You matter.
You matter. I want you to keep that with you all week. You matter. And if you would do your offertory prayer and say it with me. The love of God inspires me to give in a spirit of generosity. I give with love and joy to ensure the growth of this ministry and this unity center. And so it is. Thank you, God. I have a little bit of sad news this morning, for those of you who are not aware that Sherry Mickelson's mom did make her transition yesterday. And so as you can, reach out to she and the family. I have no details at this point. So when I find out more, I will get back to you. I was with her yesterday morning in prayer. We sent out a special prayer request, and all of you there on in the prayer circle all responded and sent prayers through that time. And within that short period of time, with all the prayers going to her, she made her transition. So that prayer, you have no idea the sacredness and the power of the prayer circle. So whenever you have a need, please put a prayer request in, and we hold it sacred. We hold it very sacred. I don't know how many of you have sent cards to Kay Carlson. I did ask a couple of weeks ago that you did that. She's having some very serious challenges in her home and with her husband, and is unable to come. And she's just so sad not to be here. So please, her address is still back there, little yellow cards. Please send her a card and wish her well and let her know that she is missed as well. Tom wants me to tell you there's a bunch of string beans back there from his garden, and I've been eating them. I just finished a whole batch from last week, and I was eating them this morning before you guys even came here. So if you'd like some fresh string beans, help yourself. Okay, thank you, Tom and Mary Ellen. Yes?
I just want to interject before we get going otherwise. Josh has been on with us. Our boy Josh is watching us.
Oh, hi, Josh. Josh is watching us. Hi, Josh. We love you, Josh. We miss you. For those of you who don't know, Josh was our sound person for 2.5 years, and now he is settled in medicine and college, and we miss him greatly. So we love you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So thank you for today, for Tom, Mary Ellen Cloyver, and Carrie Smith, and Jules, of course, for all that goes on in here in the morning on Sunday to make this happen. I could not do any of it without all of you helping. So Unity World Day of Prayer, September 8th and 9th. Sign up sheet for Thursday, September 9th from 9 a.m. to 4:30. Please get your prayer request in by August 31st. We have to send them to Silent Unity. Just there's blue papers out there like that. Just put them in the prayer box, and I will get them to Pam. Next week, annual picnic. Oh my God, so excited about that. Please, for those of you that can help, be here Saturday to help Patty put up the tents. Patty cannot put up tents by herself. She's a bad back and weak knees and she needs help. So be here to help her. At 12 o'clock, we have flowers coming and we have balloons coming. We have tents coming. So be here or be square. Be here. Also Sunday, all of you that are on committees or not, be here anyhow. If you could get here by 9:30, we have a lot to set up before service. Danny and John, you need to get here and get your grills and charcoal going and all whatever you guys do. That's your stuff. And Carrie and Ruth Madison are handling hospitality. Sherry was on that committee, but I doubt if Sherry will be here next Sunday. She may be, I don't know. But please know that hospitality is going to need a lot of help before and after. And so, yeah. Bring in your food, lots of food, and let's see how many loaves and fishes we actually end up with for this. It's going to be a great thing, and that's all I'm going to say. Okay, be here on time on Sunday, be here on Saturday to help set up the tent. Okay, Rock the Block is coming up September 16, 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., and that's Saturday, September. Ours is Saturday, September 18th from 9 to 3:30. And that's where we go to a certain area and we help fix mended fences, sliding doors, windows that are stuck, whatever they ask us to do. We wear our Unity t-shirts and we go there and strong and we help our community. We do help them financially and that's great, but we also need to set an intention, move forward and help in other ways. The directory, please fill out your the directory cards and make sure you write on them. Yes, I want to be in the directory. No, I don't want to be in the directory. But we're trying to update our information. John Hirsch, your phone number is wrong. I tried to call you, so we need a new phone number. So that's it. And next up, the pet blessing. Is Jules not too much or what? Give her a hand. I just love this little bit. So, pet blessing, September 11th, right here, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's just Susan Kelton has put together an amazing event for a fundraiser for the Humane Society. So let's be here and support that. I don't think I've ever done a blessing for a pet before other than my own. So this will be a new experience for me. So anyhow, I think that's it. Anybody have anything else want to share, say, something gurgling in your consciousness that needs to come out?
Is that puppy going to be there?
I don't know, but wouldn't that be cute?
Let's see.
Can we get that on Great Happenings? Because that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, then we are ready for go. And I guess this is the appropriate song. Again, The Middle of a Miracle. After I do hope that you enjoyed all of the conditions of a miracle, and it was my pleasure to bring it to you. And let's just take it out with Middle of a Miracle. Let's stand. Standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Funny how it happens when your heart is full, anything and everything is possible. Standing in the middle of a miracle right now. I have walked through the desert, I have cried through the night. Spent my life where the blinders could not see the light. And one day I surrendered, and I fell to my knees. Heard a whisper that's magic in everything you see. And you're standing in the middle of a miracle.
standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Funny how it happens when your heart is full, anything and everything is possible, standing in the middle of a miracle right now. We bend these like revolvers, when it's back our bodies are rich. It's like sitting in the darkness, not knowing there's much to say. And we're standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Funny how it happens when your heart is full, anything and everything is possible, standing in the middle of a miracle right now. This sacred journey from light to day, this very moment, this very breath, we're standing in the middle of, standing in the middle of a miracle. We're standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Funny how it happens when your heart is full, anything and everything is possible. We're standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Oh, we're standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle, standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Funny how it happens when your heart is full, anything and everything is possible, standing in the middle of a miracle right now. Standing in the middle of a miracle.
Yes, indeed. And this is what we know. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And as we leave here today, we just remember that there is that one power, that one presence, that ever-loving intelligence, universal, Holy Spirit, God, Holy Mother, Father, that which you choose to call it is your creator, that has given you the breath of life that you feel right now, coursing through your body, going through and sending love. And the message for the day is to move forward and remember, you matter, I matter, we matter. And everybody around you, everybody that you come in contact with, bless them, deserve that they have a right to be here and know that they matter. For we are the light bearers. We are the ones that the world has been waiting for. We are the ones that make a difference. And for this and for so much more, we're ever grateful. And together we say, and so it is, amen, and it is done. Thank you all so very much for a very special day. And Jules is running to do their other part of her job this Sunday. For all of you in live stream land, we'll see you. Hope to see you on Sunday. Come to the picnic. You'll make new friends, meet new people, and have the best time of your life. So thank you, and we are over and out. God bless, be safe, stay healthy.